show, The Infinite Fringe, over on Truth Frequency Radio every Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific. You can also find Billy Ray Valentine and Ben Hameen over on hackerhameen.podbean.com, where you'll find Ben and the Conspiracy Horsemen talking professional wrestling and conspiracy. Who else? I want to give a quick shout out to Jimmy Jean over there on Truth Frequency Radio. You can hear him every Saturday night at midnight Pacific doing his show, which is also replayed on Mondays, I think around noon. I highly suggest everybody go out there and check out Jimmy Jean. He's one hell of a guy. So extra special shout out to him. Love and positive vibes. I know he's been going through a tough week himself. So I just want to know we are thinking about you. And we are sending love your way.
Can't get no better, brother.
Can't get no better. I'd like to get him on to tell that story, but I don't think I can wait, really. Because that's a hell of a story. Last week we had guys on who battled cancer and won. And Jimmy Jean is another one of those who was diagnosed with cancer and managed to see the other side. But apparently at some point in his life, he died. And when he came back with information. And he sort of summed it up for us. We were having a conversation, all the guys here, and Jimmy Jean. And he summed it up for us. So this is what he brought back from sort of the afterlife when he came back. He said that the universe will do its best to prove you wrong every chance it gets. So what you need to do is sort of adjust your way of thinking. So when someone says, "Hey, Josh, how you doing today?" Just stop and look at them and tell them, you know what? It can't get no better. Because what that does is that's going to offer the universe the perfect opportunity to prove your ass wrong. And by doing so, it's only going to make your day better. It's only going to make things better because it's going to prove you wrong. Or worst case scenario, it doesn't prove you wrong. And damn it, it can't get no better. And then that's a good day to begin with. So I just really like that response, and I've been using it every chance I get. So when everybody asks me how I'm doing, that's what I say. It can't get no better. So a big shout out to Jimmy.
At least you get a smile on their face.
It's all about positive thinking positively, I think.
That's not the full truth, is it? We promised we'd continue to do that, Josh.
And I have been.
I've been doing it. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Exactly.
I did it. I have used it today, and the universe has proven me wrong. Because, like I said, when I started this show, I was, not necessarily in the best of spaces either. I was still kind of frustrated and still trying to unwind from the week. And yet here I am, proven wrong. Apparently, my day did get better.
That's awesome, man. I love it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks to my brothers here at IronRealmMedia, and thanks to all the brothers and sisters out there in chat. You are the ones that have improved my day. You are the ones that have helped me finish this week strong. So a big shout out to everybody. Thank you so much.
We love you, Josh.
We love you, brother.
Yeah, bro.
Tonight has put a big smile on my face as well. Yeah, it's been a good week for me. I'm, not unlike other people's, but yeah, tonight's put a big smile on my face. Good to catch up.
Josh, should we probably revisit what we were about to start, maybe, as we're on topic?
Since we're on that topic?
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good idea. Because, well, I think this is just such a really good opportunity to do it. And since the time clock is ticking, what better time than now? What better place than here?
Better day than today.
So on the subject of Jimmy Jean has this idea that what the truth community is seriously lacking is an award show. So, yeah, we have Patty and the Sarge that does the Flatty Awards for Flat Earth. But what he's envisioning is something much larger, something that's going to be all-encompassing for the whole truth community, right? So it's going to be like sort of the Emmys, the Golden Globes, a huge undertaking where we're all encompassing all these sort of new alternative media truth movement and give them awards, which I think is a really great, awesome idea because he's right. I have not really seen anything like that of any consequence. So in that, he did want to include some Flat Earth awards, but you can't necessarily put Flat Earth in with the truth community and just try to limit it to 1 or 2 awards, really. You're just like the best Flat Earth, insert whatever you want here, and try to call that an award. Because I think what the Flat Earth movement has done to the truth community, the minds it has cracked open, I think is sort of unprecedented. So he even had in mind something a little more elaborate for the Flat Earth specifically, which of course is sort of where IronRealmMedia came in, because he was sort of asking us if we would be interested in sort of presenting awards for this, for Flat Earth, on his bigger, larger awards show. And this is something that even we had discussed about years ago. I say years because it's probably been that long. It's been over a year at least, so good enough. That we wanted to do like a Flat Earth Awards show. This was even before the Flatties came out. But we wanted to do Flat Earth Awards. And that's sort of where the ironies were born, using the Golden Globe statuette to give out Flat Earth Awards, because that's pretty ironic. And since we're IronRealmMedia, what better thing to name our awards than the ironies?
Love it.
So,
never got that. Carry on.
Never got that?
Look, as long as I get one, Josh.
Well, I'm sure we can scrounge something up just special for you.
As long as I don't get one, Josh, you got my support.
Oh, I think that's in the bag.
Excellent.
No, just kidding. I'm sure if it were up to me, you would definitely get one, at least nominated, because I don't know of maybe a more widely touted and a more widely used gyroscope video than yours, John. So I think if for nothing else,
Rob Durham beat me by a week, so he can stand up on the stage.
So here's where we are. I think we have a limited time, right? He's planning to at least get the markers in so that we can get this sort of into the consciousness by the end of the year. He's envisioning a New Year's Eve award show, right? Where he will have judges to independently judge the categories, but then leading up to the night of the awards show, you will be able to go online and cast your own vote. And then on that night, on New Year's Eve, the final voting will be at 99 cents per vote. You can call and make as many votes as you want leading up to, but then that night there'll be 99 cents a piece. And you can call to try to push whoever you want to win over the edge to make sure they get that extra edge. But then it'll be a live sort of presentation of all these awards. So basically what we're in need of would be the top 4 categories for the Flat Earth that we could do. And then we're going to also need, what's the word I'm looking for? We need suggestions, nominations. That's the word I'm looking for. We need nominations to fill those categories. Now, I'm just not sure of any good way to sort of collate all this information, because as I've said in chat before, I am tragically disorganized. We do have email addresses at ironrealmmedia@gmail.com. You can text us your ideas or call and leave a voicemail if you wanted to try the flatline. And that is area code 304-503-3528. If you're calling from outside the U.S., just tack on a 001 in front of that. And that should, I believe, get you through with an international calling code. I'm not entirely positive, but F it. Let's cross our fingers and hope so. So we are just in need of some of your guys' suggestions, whether it's here in chat or Twitter, Facebook. You can find us. Send us all the messages you want over on our Facebook page, because nobody's there either. That's the best Flat Earth Facebook page that nobody's ever seen, because it's basically just our Twitter feed for all intents and purposes. But nobody follows our IronRealmMedia page, and you can find us over there on Facebook at Flat and Free on the Iron Realm, or just search IronRealmMedia. But we would love to hear your suggestions and your ideas of nominations and or categories for some awards. Flat Earth, not even necessarily Flat Earth. I'm sure Jimmy Jean would appreciate any suggestions you can help in making him get his list of categories too. But specifically for us and specifically for Flat Earth, we would appreciate any and all help you guys are willing to give.
I think that's a great idea. Well done. And to Flat Earth, Forever Flat Earth in the chat. Yeah, the gyroscope's great. I mean, it's anyone can do the gyroscope experiment. But Rob Durham was there first, and he is actually a helicopter pilot, so he has ultimately more cred than I have. But I think that's a great idea, Josh.
Have we got 4 slots, did you say, Josh? Is that what we've agreed on?
I think so. I think for time allowance, and I think he's allowed 30 minutes out of 2 hours. So a quarter of this award show is going to be dedicated strictly to Flat Earth, whereupon IronRealmMedia will be able to present these Flat Earth awards that I am sure will be different than the Flatty Awards.
Are you going to get some light up glasses, Josh?
I was thinking going more Sally Jesse Raphael.
There you go.
Not so much. Yeah, maybe not quite so flamboyant necessarily. Maybe a little more conservative, but still a little femme.
I've heard one award so far that's controversial for the best newcomer or whatever the hell it was. What were some of the other awards given out? Does anyone know? Because I haven't watched any of this stuff yet.
No, I don't.
Nor I. I'm too busy not prepping for my shows to not watch these drama videos and Flat Earth.
So essentially, we don't know what any of the other awards were given out for, 2 or 4.
This is true, but I think it's also that I'm a bit apathetic to what those awards and the award winners were, because again, it's going to be so much different. I've noticed that that circle does run a little bit small, and we're hoping to be a bit more inclusive.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. It's just that we were talking about one award they gave out earlier. I was just wondering what any of the other awards were.
I hope we're not coming across as a bunch of sorry losers who didn't win an award tonight. We seem to be talking a lot about awards we didn't win.
No, I'm not a sorry loser. I'm an angry loser.
Yeah.
I'm very messy. No, I think I did go through it. I really used, on your phone you can double tap the screen on YouTube and it skips forward 10 seconds. So I did go through the whole awards, and I'm not being mean here when I say that. I did go through it all, but there was so many that, if I'm being honest with you, and this is the point I'd want to allude to, that I couldn't tell you the categories. I could tell you a few people that got awards,
go on.
And so on, but I couldn't. I couldn't tell you the categories that they won the award for. Now. And don't push me for a load of names.
Yeah, nobody. I don't want to hear them.
The point I want to bring back to is we've got 4 slots, okay, and we're not in a Flatties, we're in a Truther, award ceremony. We've actually been given, in my opinion, a decently serious bloody role, guys.
Yeah, and it's backed by a big radio station too. This is TFR.
Yeah, not within the flat community, but within the Truther community.
The Truther community, right.
We've got 4 slots, and I think these 4 slots need to represent what the flat Earth is about, not what we've witnessed and keep slipping back into celebrity bitching. All of us, do you know what I mean? And we've all said we can't. It's not what we're here for, but it's such a big event that's happening, this celebritization of flat Earth, that I think in the awards, for me, the first title I want is the word zetetic in the first award. Do you know what I mean? And we've only got 4, so let's just use them sensibly and but seriously, we do need help, guys, out there from the what I see as another proper truthing community. The small, as we alluded to, the small following we've got, but they all seem to be on the right plane.
Indeed.
Well said.
Which I think is why we value their input so much. And why this isn't just a way of us getting out of doing a little extra work, but we really do value your input and your opinions on the subject.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier in the chat, I think it was Vagabond talked about Ole Damgard and his work. So Dame Guard, I don't remember how to say his name.
Ole Damgard, yeah,
That's
done
it.
amazing work. He
Who
definitely
is it?
is. Yeah, he
Yeah,
makes the rounds too. You'll find him on lots of different shows. But as far as false flag work, he is definitely one of the top there too. He does some great work into the subject of false flags and these crazy, weird, strange events that they seem to keep happening.
Every day.
Has anyone got a category then? We must all be able to pull one. Have we all thought of one category, boys, just to go back to that we'd put in? Like I said, mine would be best zetetic experiment.
Yeah, that's yeah. Experiment for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But anyways, I think this is a conversation for us lads to have.
It definitely is. It's definitely one we should have had before now.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm kind of hard to get a hold of. So
it is what it is. Onwards.
Well, we
and
kind of
upwards,
jumped on
my
it quick
friend.
the week of the conference, and then things kind of, once we found out there were actually Flatty Awards going on at the conference, we backed down a little bit with the heat we had on us, because we had planned on trying to get some flyers out asking for nominations and categories and things like that at the conference, have one of our friends like Paul on the Plane distribute those around. But once we found out there were going to be actual awards, happening there, we figured it would just kind of get lost in the mix. People would assume it was tied into that awards show, and not, we didn't want to derail their thing.
That's poor form, isn't it? Yeah, it's poor form, mate.
Right.
Yeah,
so
that would have been.
But definitely, Jimmy Jean has offered us a great opportunity, and we're definitely going to take advantage of it and do our best to get the categories that make sense, that make an impression, not just ego stroking, but actual, people that have done the work.
I would say Discovery would be another one. But anyways, we're not talking about it. See you later.
Why aren't we talking about it? Why are you clamming up?
I don't know.
That's what I'd like to see. That would be my nomination for an award. Would be that. What? Give me one nomination title, not people, James, but like the things.
No. Experiment is perfect. I think Discovery is really good. I don't know. Let's hear. If we're going to talk about it, what are two other good broad categories?
I think you hit the nail on the head with empirical evidence. It's something that anyone and everyone can do for themselves if they don't believe it. So I would say, the Dan Dimension and the Tesla's Apple were both fantastic experiments. They quite clearly show that we don't live on a sphere. They quite clearly show that we don't live on a rotating anything. We live on a stationary plane.
Yeah, Good Times for All in chat mentioned Dan Dimension and his work with the noble gases and it just changed his view so much. And I think that's a good category, though I'm not quite sure how you would word that.
The Dan Dimension thing was the noble gases interacting with his Tesla coil. I was just unbelievable.
I'd title that one "Perspective Changer," guys. That was immense, because I remember us guys talking about it and discussing it when it first came
Second
out.
category, perspective changer.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It opens up a new way of thinking about what sunlight was to me. That it wasn't daylight. It was
visionary.
Luminescence of noble gases that we were witnessing, and not necessarily direct daylight. The illumination we were seeing was a secondary effect of the sun coming in. So I think that's a great shout, that one.
It brought about the
perspective changer is.
It brought about the distinction between sunlight and seeing the sun. There was a difference between being able to see the sun and there being some sort of sunlight, you know, as Time and Date loves to categorize the different twilights. You know, they've got about 4 different twilight zones. What Dan Dimension did was show why we see light, sunlight, before we see the sun. And I thought that was quite significant.
It is very significant. And I think Zach hit the nail on the head. It really did sort of change my perspective, too, and the way I see it. Even the conversation we had earlier about the 18-hour sun in the Antarctic, right? And we had to differentiate whether we were looking at sunlight or daylight, because we now see it as two completely separate entities.
Yeah.
Right? Well, maybe not completely separate, because there's a whole lot of stuff we don't know, but we're looking at it a different way.
In terms of categories, though, I still see that as being almost a discovery, the noble gas, because they was the first to come out with it. I think we should also, maybe we could consider one about presentation, because some people have a knack for making something that's very difficult and explaining it in a way that just makes sense. And those people have an impact.
And for that nomination, I would put up probably Antonio Superats for the gyroscope explanation. The way he took a CD and a straw and showed exactly what I was trying to do.
That's exactly what I was alluding to. Yeah, that whole problem we had for months and months and months. Yeah,
I'd refer you to the last video.
Discovery, experiments, explanation. What else, guys? We're brainstorming.
For me, guys, in terms of that, it'd be the last videos we've just played. Not just one of Nick from Phuket World Stuff. I think he's great at actually explaining so many things, from perspective we saw to effects of gravity when he's dropping eggs and stuff in water and so on. I think he's a fantastic realizer of theory.
I second that. And absolutely.
Yeah.
I think he has done
very easy to understand.
I think the experiments that he's done are just incredibly empirical. That anyone can do them. They can go out and do it for themselves, and you can't ask for more than that, basically.
And maybe I do want to take a bit of umbrage with maybe best discovery, because discovery is going to imply a certain amount of confidence in what it is, a certainty that maybe we can't necessarily provide. So discovery is maybe a bit strong of a word.
You're right.
Maybe
if you want to get technical.
Discovery requires validation, doesn't it?
Right. Yes.
I'd say best category for further investigation.
Yeah, something like that for sure. And I would say the last one we divvy up as a montage to all of the people that have gotten us here, because I want to highlight some of the characters and personalities, but that's not what it's about. So I suggest we do an homage to them in a video or something, because there's been so many people. I mean, and there is today, tomorrow there'll be more. There was when it started. There's been so many hands, and it would be a shame just to individualize it. There's been so many helpers, you know.
Well, I
Sounds
would
like
say,
you're just giving yourself a job, James. That does to me.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we only have 30 minutes on the award show. I mean, a montage like that was probably going to be a 15-minute video we'll have to put out separately after the fact.
Someone who's been making videos for a few years could maybe do it in 5 or 7.
That would be nice. If only we had somebody that'd be willing to make videos for IronRealmMedia.
Oh, if only we had been asked earlier, then we would have done it.
Shit. What we needed to do, we should have just come up originally with a whole idea where we could just come together as a group and provide multimedia.
I think we should come up with a night each week where maybe we meet, discuss matters like this.
I was going to say, is it worth pointing out to the listeners that we did have this unveiled, but at no point have we discussed it, and you're listening tonight to the unveiling of what the hell we should do.
Hey, James, I love you. I'm just giving you trouble. I could
I
make
love
videos
you too.
just
I'm
as
giving you
easy as
shit.
could, but I don't. So, yeah, I'm just trouble.
What
Please
was,
don't put it
what
in
was
stock.
the name of that old program too? I had a laugh because I was stuck and I tried to find it to add an effect. Remember the program that you could make the spider jump? Oh God, we had some
Is
laughs.
that Filmora? Is that the one
I
I was
think, or no, it was like Hit Film or Smash Mouth or.
Oh, well, no.
Anyways, it was fun.
The spider jump was just a green screen footage. Those were just green screen effects. The software, I still have that software. I'll never get rid of because it's so powerful. Once I get the computer I'm hoping to eventually get, it should be able to run it. Right now, I couldn't even use it to make a video because it would take 3 days to render the SOB. So by the time I get all my composites done, it's impractical to use because my computer just can't handle it. But
I will say this: it's double the size of Adobe. So
yeah, but it's film editing and special effects compositing software all in one. So it's like 3 different Adobe programs basically bundled together.
So what would it take to get you to dust off the old machine there and make half a video, and I'll make the other half?
James, it just sounds like you're trying to get out of a clear job. Get on, man.
On that note,
man.
You've got a job to do. I tell you what, John, I'm really looking forward to James's compilation video at the award ceremony. Is what I would say on that.
So am I.
I can't wait
on that
for
note,
James's compilation video. Guys, this something else.
Best Flat Earth song.
Good Times for All said AJC 1844 on Equinox Sun, Sunrise, Sunset. I'm not overly. I know that's Adam, isn't it? Because that's why I kind of remember it. AJC is the guy that did the Flat Earth Smarts, isn't it? And that's what I remember him for, not necessarily the one that I'm struggling not to remember. Good Times. Sorry. But again, there's and that brings me to the point. There was when we were chatting with the guys from TFR, there was a category that came up which was kind of like somebody that impacts elsewhere, in terms of bringing the flat Earth out in a wider audience, not necessarily what we clearly do, which is talk to a confined audience in more detail, but people that are spreading the word, for want of an evangelical phrase. Do you know what I mean? And I think he kind of fits more into that kind of category because he presents an inward road for people into flat Earth. Hello.
And who is this you're talking about?
Oh, I know who he's talking about.
Rob in Australia. he's telling everybody all across the plane.
Do you not know AJC? So that's the Flat Earth Smart series. Is a guy.
Yeah.
What?
And wasn't there some bite size or something too?
Yeah.
Recently?
Been around a good a good while, man, and produced some early stuff. He's appeared on Globebusters in the
That's
past
probably where
few
I saw
months. Yeah, so you'll see from. But like I say, his earlier work I think is fantastic in terms of it's simple and very calm, explanatory nature. And then he does a lot of other good work, which is what you've probably seen him on Globebusters for, which is his work with planispheres and star patterns and supposition with regards to the Southern Cross. So again, a really good Zetetic. When we come back to Zetetic stuff,
I just like to say, Adam, sorry to cut you off, and then this is weird for me. It's not weird for me to cut you off, people off, but it's weird. But it's weird for me to say this. But you mentioned Jamie Brown earlier, and it sounded like you have a soft spot for him, and you know we have often gotten very good references and kind words spoken about us. So why don't we take a minute just to recognize Jamie Brown and maybe point people to his channel and shine a light on him for a minute. I was just thinking that, and it was eating me up. So what kind of stuff does Jamie put out, and let's give our listeners a shout out to him. And
I think Jamie gives a platform to people. He's a very informed person, and unlike myself, doesn't necessarily feel the need to talk all the time, but he'll sit there and like I said the other day, the show was kind of ruined, but he gave this guy a platform, and to me, he kind of showed the motivation, the guys. But he also just invites the community in, and I think the big thing about Jamie is that the amount of time the bloke dedicates to this. If you ever check, he's online. He's just been online. He's about to be online, and I think a level of that, and that maybe is another award that's worth it. It's like a dedication, because there are people out there. There you go. There's another one, boys. We're just whacking them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm glad you said it, and I'm glad you know him. And if you're listening, Jamie, you've gained a listener. I am going to give you a listen for sure now.
Oh, you definitely should. I'm a fan of Jamie's too.
Oh yeah, big time. He's been in the chat with us before.
Jamie's the guy that Timmy Osmond came on and impersonated. You know when it was no. So he's from the northwest, I think, and so he's got to reach a strong northwest accent, which I will not try and emulate now. But
it's nice that there's good ones and that we can promote them, because we were once in that spot getting shit on, and it's nice to promote somebody that you respect, because I respect you, and that's what we should do, is pass her forward.
Hey, James. Just creatively storyboarding this. We can, doing these presentations and awards, before the awards, we can still do like 10, 15 second bits, a spotlight. We can spotlight people before we give an award. It can be completely unrelated, with nobody from the nominations coming. Just a real quick spotlight on Jamie Brown's channel, blah blah blah, whatever it is.
And whoever's little gems or channels or homegrown people that we've come across that we feel maybe deserve a nod, a tip of the old hat, if you will.
So I'm just telling you so you can help me to not forget these ideas. I wrote it down.
You're the organizer.
And that's right. And I'm organizing. I'm delegating responsibilities, jackass.
I take it. And I'm permission to come aboard. Steuben is aboard.
Seriously, just to help me remember, so that when we do finally get to storyboarding these ideas, that we will at least have this in the back of our minds at some point, that we're going to need to try to produce these little 15 to 20 second spotlight bits for each presentation. Sorry, we can stop producing a show live now.
Is it fun though? Nobody can question our authenticity now, hey?
Unless it's all staged. And
I had a strange thought this week. There's a lot of drama going on in Flat Earth right now, and we're not going to get into specifics, but there's a lot of, at the very least, some serious investigative work happening. To what extent, who knows, and to what purpose, who cares? Really, essentially, at this point, it's flat. There's no motion. There's no curve. We get it enough. But I was just wondering if we could get somebody to do one of these deep undercover investigative reports on IronRealmMedia, right? Because you're basically going to dig up my name every single time, no matter where you go. And then people can start digging really deep into my background, and they can just totally out me and just have everybody just drop IronRealmMedia's name all over the place, outing us as, shills, government, whatever it is. Look into my background. See what you come up with.
Yeah,
But
I'll
it just
go with
seems
that.
like
Yeah, I'll be up for that.
one of those things.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it. You want to talk about all the horrible things I may or may not have done? Let's sit down.
Yeah, you want to
We'll have
know
a
who
great-
John Savage is? Feel free.
We're gonna have to call the RCMP, Mister.
Well, again, there's only one real name. I mean, you might run across two, but really only one name you're going to come across for IronRealmMedia when you start digging. Who's the website, who's the name under. I mean, you're going to find a name, and it's probably going to be mine, right? So you can find me on Facebook, search my criminal record. You can do all the stuff that's been done to all these other flat earthers. I invite it, right? So make all these.
Are you serious? Like I know you're animated and this is getting increased, but again, my naivety. Who's done this, and is this what's really? Is that where we are? PIs now?
I mean, there are people that have done it. I mean, right? Going through people's criminal records, trying to out them as sexual predators or whatever it is, or digging.
But that's a different matter. I mean, I can't.
We're talking about criminal record. We're talking about digging into people's past, and that's what I'm talking about. I mean, if you want to dig into somebody's past, looking at their criminal records is a pretty easy thing to do.
If they have one.
If they have one, right? So yeah, I think it's just hilarious, and it was just more of a theoretical thought. I wasn't really insisting.
I can't believe it's actually getting that far, man.
Look into my background, but they're getting a lot of views, I guess is my point. People, for whatever reason, there are still these flat earthers that are interested in soap operas. And what better soap opera right now than the flat earth, especially if you can contribute to the opera-ness of the soaps. I don't know what the F, but right, just the more drama, the better. So if people are really getting involved, because these investigative videos trying to out people as shills or whatever the world's going on out there, there's a lot of people looking at it.
It's a phase, Sally. It'll pass.
Yeah, but it's a recurring phase, and that's the issue I'm having.
But it's not our phase. And you got. Is that what you were depressed about, brother?
Nah. No,
Okay.
again, it was nothing. That's what was so weird. It was a general depression. It wasn't necessarily clinical, where it's nothing I could pull out of, but it was so generalized, and there was nothing I could put my finger on.
Okay.
It was just a weird vibe. Same with me being angry. There was nothing.
It's like
I
an
was
oppressive vibe. That was my vibe. Oppressive all week, and confused at all the energy feelings. It was a difficult week.
It was. Anyway, I just thought it would be funny. One good way to get IronRealmMedia's name out there is for someone to do all these investigative reports on us, because that's what people.
Not really, though. We should just stay out of that shit. That's what makes us different, though. We stick to the facts.
Couldn't you
That's
go
not-
and commit a crime, Josh? Like, that'd get us our names in the paper, wouldn't it? If you went out there and, I don't know.
I mean, I'm definitely capable. I'd just be, kind of so far outside my wheelhouse that it's just not something I'm necessarily interested in doing.
I'm not
No.
suggesting bank robbery.
If you want to start doing some illegal stuff, I'll do illegal shit all day long.
I'd just like to say that I don't want my name in the paper. I don't want any fame. I don't want any fortune. I don't want anything out of this at all.
I don't want to be infamous. I don't either. Thank
And
you.
no, I totally agree. And yeah, that's where I stand. Go grab your fame and fortune. Not a problem.
No, neither do I, John. That's why I'm suggesting Josh does it.
Oh, please.
Is that what they're calling it these days?
That's why it's so great to have me as the face of IronRealmMedia, because the least likely to ever become famous for anything. So it works out really well. If ever there was an albatross around our neck, it would be me.
You have a twin, don't forget.
That's your
But
real
then maybe
name,
that-
Josh, though, isn't it?
Mate,
I have no real criminal history. You're not going to find anything in my background. I'm not really interested in anybody digging stuff up on me because I'll come at you with worse stories than you can find. So it doesn't really matter. The point of the story is that I think what we're doing here as a group needs to be shared. I think people don't. If people could, okay, we're a little pie in the sky here. If we could just get everybody to come and listen to us without making us famous, that's what I want.
I'm just here for the learning, man. You guys teach me stuff every week. I love it. This is great no matter what happens.
We just need to bend their ear for a few hours on a Friday, and then they just need to stop listening to us and go and do their own research. Don't look for fame. Don't look for someone to prop up as the first person to bring you X information. Just get information. Sort through it yourself, but get information. Let information be information, and you do your own research.
I'm only here because they killed the pubs in the UK, so just thought I'd say that.
Well,
I can get a bit fluffy, and I'm not getting religious, but guys, we all hang together, and lots of religions teach fellowship brings the right answer, and it's not necessarily a spiritual answer, but I love the way we work together. You know, we do. James, you said, "Oh, I learned so much." We all learn so much from each other, and we all bring something different to the table, is what I think. And the things you bring me, James, I would never even engage with, and that's what's beautiful for me, that I've got a bunch of guys that I have fellowship with, that I learn so much from as well, James.
Mm-hmm. Amen. You're making me all tingly. I even know what boutons are now.
I'm stopping it now.
Well, hey, tell us about that crazy food over where.
What, the poutine? That's poutine.
That's
poutine with fried boudin in it.
Yeah,
God
boudin.
damn,
That's
I want
what
that
it is.
stuff.
Dang, I look at that picture all the time, and I'm like, I need that.
Man, this
I'll
stuff is
take
deadly.
away. I'll take
I
away
probably
your
closed up
tingliness.
3 arteries. Right, that left my left arm tingly.
Yeah, I'll remove all tingliness. I'm not your brother,
Scrooge
and I don't love you, but
Yeah,
I
that is.
appreciate every single one of you, and I couldn't live without you.
Yeah.
I co-orderly thank you, John, for that.
Whatever that means.
Nice.
Yep, I'll go with that. Thank you.
I was just trying to respond in your language. I love you.
In my language.
foreign language.
I hereby and henceforth quarterly love you all.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those that don't understand, that's like receiving a love letter from Mr. Savage. That was thanks, bruv.
Epic,
Yeah.
dude.
Any-
At least you got it, Adam.
Oh,
That's about as far as I'll go.
I know.
That was like a 14 on the stimp meter, brother.
And to quickly move it on, John, for you, I will just bring it back to ridicule. And other than your anonymity of, because you could look like Brad Pitt, we don't know. You could be a pretty boy, really. But other than that, unfortunately, I think, Josh, you are stuck with the poster boy, as we already see on TFR, mate. You look quite cute. And there's no one else going to replace. Look at my shaggy, hairy face on the screen. Do you know what I mean? We don't need that. So you're stuck with the poster boy thing, I'm afraid, mate.
Well, luckily, that's an old picture.
21.
Just when you think you can't be funnier, he comes out with that. Nice. Good one.
I've got some good creams. We can.
I'm actually smarter than I look, too.
Oh, thank God.
Who's the cream for?
For my ugliness. Is
Or
it
my
cream?
tingling, I thought.
A Botox cream, mate. We'll just make sure you don't look furrowed when presenting.
Yeah, I'm full on furrowed 98% of the time. They call it resting dick face because I always look like I'm just being a dick to people.
So seriously, on that, are you presenting? Because I assume what are you going to do? Hand envelopes over, or is somebody going to? Are you going to go up there and do it? Whether that's
this is done. It's not necessarily being sponsored by like Truth Frequency Radio. This is a Jimmy Jean thing. Enter the Microcosm is his show, and this is something that he really wants to do. That being said, it's kind of being done on TFR, and it's going to bleed in, hopefully, into the show before his and into the show after his a little bit. So it will be sort of a trans TFR thing. But ideally, if we can make a big enough initial impact this year, hopefully, then it will do nothing but get bigger. And then hopefully by next year, we'll have a full year to actually organize and get things really done up. Jimmy Jean's got he's got a really nice studio. He lives out there in California and has been acquiring equipment for many, many years and has built himself quite a nice little private studio that he has. So he's got some pretty good production value into what he's doing. So I think once it evolves to what it is that he's envisioned, I think it could very well be pretty damn big. So that being said, this is a great chance for us to get our foot in the door and help make real the Irony Awards that we talked about. Jesus, 18 plus months ago.
I was listening to Jimmy Jean the other day, and he's quite an interesting fellow. To be perfectly honest, he's got a lot of contacts and historical contacts in people around, what is it, Hollywood, California, around that sort of way.
Right.
Yeah. Once upon a time, Jimmy Jean had dreams of going out to be a big famous movie star.
That's right.
He went out there and he rubbed elbows and he ran in the crowds. He himself never made it big. He couldn't hack it, didn't have what it took or whatever it was. You know how flighty Hollywood is. But he was close. So he was, sort of in those circles and did do a bit of networking. So he does have connections. That is a man of many talents and a lot of information. Just like so many of our friends that we've met through the
man,
hours
he
and
thinks
hours.
that iron's the one.
Sorry.
What?
He thinks that iron's the one.
Iron's the one.
Jimmy Jean.
Oh, get at it. You see, that's worse than my joke. That is worse. That is worse.
Bloody brill, and you'll take it. You'll take it. Take it.
Once I get the joke, then I'm sure I'll appreciate it.
Jimmy Jean's not my lover.
Yeah. Nope.
Okay. I get it. It's a bad Michael Jackson reference. I think I understand it. Jimmy G.
On that joke. On that.
I wanted to hear Walt.
On that note, I'm going to have to get out of here. So I'll say goodbye, and I'm not one for hanging around.
Well, real quick, before you go away, I just found something interesting. I was closing tabs because I knew we were about to wrap this up, and I got back to that Gigapan site tab, and I noticed something in the distance and drew it in a little closer. Let me share my screen real quick. Hang on one second. Because I really want everybody to see this.
This does sound interesting. Yeah.
Hang on. Because I was trying to find a landmark or something I could get a distance. Because I found out the hotel that these pictures were taken from. And that was the start. And then I started clicking around in it earlier and I left it closed out, like zoomed out and then left it and didn't look. But how do I share screen? Oh, yeah, here it is. Man, sorry, guys.
Adam, are you still sharing your screen? Somebody's still sharing theirs.
It's bound to be me, isn't it? Wait.
Okay.
What have I got to do?
Poor form.
Very poor, sir. Very poor.
You will be fined 10 credits, John Spartan.
No, I'm not, because I've just pressed that button.
It's working, yeah.
Yeah, it's not me. See? You see? See, easy it is,
James,
to cast this
Okay. Everybody sees my... Okay, you see this tree line. Let me back out real quick and show you where we're at. Okay, this is where we are. You see how far we are, right?
Hold on just a second.
Everybody seeing that?
No, hold on just a
It's not
second.
showing?
I missed something, apparently.
I found out that this is more than just one picture, by the way, guys. It's like many
That's
laced
fine.
together.
That's fine. That's fine.
I know.
figured it out. But watch. You ready? Can you see it? Everybody seeing it?
Yep.
No, hold
Okay.
on just a minute.
I am.
Hold on a minute.
Well, you can relax now anyway because you've got John's attention again, so he's good for another hour.
Yeah. I pulled the trap door on him.
I don't know who this John
All right.
you're talking about.
Okay. Okay, so this is New Orleans that we're looking at. And then over here in this distance, where I'm going to zoom in. If I ever get in there close enough. Let me get over here now. This is the beginning of what we can see of the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge. Now that is the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge. 24 plus miles long. And we're seeing it all the way across. No curve, no bend,
Damn.
no anything. We're soundly. I think
We're
we
sound-
should
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I'm
all you
still
people
looking,
have,
right?
as soon as this thing gets uploaded to YouTube, everybody snip this out and send it to
Look
Soundblade.
at
Show it.
Look how far I've gone so far.
Definitely.
Now we're gonna go through a
the
building.
Pontchartrain.
I've got a video
Oh,
for
this is
next
it. I
week.
know this is
Yes.
it. Yeah, this is the
Wow,
Pontchartrain
Undeniable.
Look
Bridge.
at that. And look at
Yeah.
it.
See
You're
how far I've
looking
gone. Now,
down
here's the
on
little
it.
hump. Here's
Oh,
the
yeah,
hump where
yeah.
he cheats
Yep.
and makes his.
That is the
crap-
cheater's hump.
Oh.
Cheaters hump.
Oh,
So we call that
But you can
cheaters
see
hump.
also
We're starting to
that you're
fade
looking
out here in
down
the
on
distance
it.
because
You
we're
are
looking-
looking
yeah, and we're
down
looking-
on
And by
it.
the way, can I
And
just
Walt-
tell you guys something from a technical, like geeky point of view? What they're showing us now with these gigapans, this is about 50% of what they can do. They can
Yeah.
do even more. They could zoom in and see the guy wiping his butt crack on the Pontchartrain if they wanted to.
Well, they
This
almost
is
are
where they're
on
putting
this.
on the balloons. This is what they're putting on the balloons and in the drones and claiming to be satellite footage from so far up.
So there's
Exactly.
another
There's
hump.
another
There's
hump.
another cheater's hump.
Yep, cheater's hump. There it is.
Good.
Gentlemen.
Oh my-
The type
This
of
is
information
astounding.
that series
And
is
how
running
did you
across.
get to this? Well, how did you get to
He's
this?
a
I just
genius.
went. I searched New Orleans to see if I could find a landmark so I could get like a distance, maybe from this hotel to the Superdome or something. And I just happened to zoom in and saw the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge, and I
on the
I'm
gigapan
zooming all
thing,
the
yeah.
way across on the gigapan site. Yeah. We'll link it in the
This-
description.
Nice.
This is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's it. That's the end of the
live.
picture.
Live.
That's the end of the picture. But yeah, this is insanity.
That is. Yeah, that is.
What
pretty
else
damn
can we
cool.
do now live?
Nice.
What other long would it have Panama Canal or something? Well, these you've already done it. Here it
That's
is,
a
the
good
smoking
idea,
gun,
yeah. Panama Canal,
cheaters
yeah.
hump, and everything.
Cheaters hump and everything.
Cheaters hump.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
Lake Erie, or
That's just madness.
that is just unreal.
Walter, sir, you are a legend.
Yeah.
that's definitely an award there, mate.
Where's my trophy? Right.
You need one.
He does.
Brilliant.
Oh my gosh.
Brilliant.
All right, cool deal. John, go to bed.
Sweet as. Yeah, on that note, I will leave you to it. I'll try and hang on for a live stream as long as I can. But, yep, take it easy, guys. Been
Don't
brilliant.
go. Yeah, come on. You took the night off to prepare for this.
Right.
Wise man once say, never outstay
Carbo
your
load
welcome.
and everything. He was.
You see what Bin Hamin's missed? He's actually missed the world exclusive tonight, just for a WWE, bro.
Well, I know he was looking forward to coming on, so
Yeah, we'll get him on.
Gutted.
for
No,
sure.
absolutely gutted, and he should be more gutted because he's missed my New Age Outlaws wrinkle because I promised I'd do it, but he didn't show, so no wrinkle.
well, I'm sure you'll keep that ring call well practiced for when he does show up.
I'm just messing with the restless mind.
Just like Uncle Luleko's name, you'll be practicing it in the mirror too. Your ring call announcer.
Yes.
You keep playing with your wrinkle, Adam. But no, Bin Harmin, it's
Yeah,
we wouldn't have discovered this if he had turned up. That's a thing.
Well, I checked on Kulaleku's name a couple of times this week because I'm blessed, as in many ways. One of the ladies that works with me is from Ghana, so I did check it a couple of times because I wanted to at least sound semi-plausible if I was going to say it.
I heard that.
Why?
I'm blessed, as in many ways. Yeah, I heard.
Yeah,
that.
mate.
Yeah,
so
I heard
lucky,
that.
Yeah, because and I'm talking about people I meet, mate. When I say that, I'm like, you know what I mean. You don't go, oh, I met this girl from God. You know what I mean. Honestly, the place I live and work, it's one of the
most vibrant cultural places, mate.
It's one of the most maddest places. Honestly, it's just a very weird culture of so many people from around the world, and I just, like I said, I just called on that. I'm going to stop apologising for practicing, you buggers. But yeah, well, what you heard there was a bit of truth, weren't you? Or how I feel, to be honest.
Good night, Tron. Thank you for everything.
Mate. Don't worry. I've got
yeah, good.
Don't have you. You're gone. I don't hear you anymore either.
You cynic. Yeah.
Oh. No tweets now.
No, but I saw a cheater's hump come up from Good Stamps for All.
Yeah,
so that's it now. That's an official. I think
a girl that had a cheater's hump.
Yeah, cheater's hump. I think someone's doing it here for a while.
Walt, that's going to be your new broadcast location.
Right.
Coming live.
Coming all the way from Cheaters Hunt, Louisiana.
Holy shnikes, that's funny.
Can we get that marked on Google Earth? Can you go there and place a picture and label it Cheater's Hump?
Probably can, huh?
I've had a bit too much tonight. I apologize for my behavior, but it's fun.
I've had a bit too little. So what do you say, fellas? Are we wrap it up?
I apologize for my behaviour from day one. Yes, I'd say wrap it up. Good night, all.
Got it out.
Well, all right, well, let's go ahead and do that then. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been IronRealmMedia's Flat Earth Friday FringeCast. My name is Josh Corey. You've been joined with John, Adam, Rob, James, Walt, and I for yet another Flat Earth Friday. TGIF, thank God it's flat. Find us on Tuesdays and Fridays over on TFRlive.com or right back here on YouTube every Friday, 10 p.m. GMT. Guys, we love you. Thank you so much for all that you do for us, all that you do for the Flat Earth. Remember to be the change that you want to see in the world. We got ourselves into this mess, and only we can get ourselves out. Be good to your neighbors. Make the next best good choice. I love you guys. See you next week. Bye-bye.